Hey, 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 happy day 13 of the Get Up and Go Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and I'm thinking about what's next. We've run through and talked about so far, being day 13, let's talk a little bit about where we've been and where we're going to go. We've talked about why do you want to do a challenge? What's in it for you to do a challenge about overcoming change and challenges and making sure that challenges always work out in your favor. Then we talked about what is your current situation, what's going on with you. We talked about the 7. I learned from Tony Robbins 7, but I'd like to break it down actually into 3. One of my mentors, Russell Brunson, talks about health, wealth, and relationships, the 3 main markets, the 3 main drivers and desires of people with respect to marketing. And our 7 from Tony Robbins, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relationships, contribution, and financial, can be broken down into those health, wealth, and relationship categories. So we covered, and I did, as we went through our SOAP framework, we talked about what you do currently and what you've done in the past to solve problems or to face challenges or changes in your life. Again, challenges and changes can be good changes as well as bad changes. Getting married was a huge challenge and a huge change for me. It was very, for most people, getting married is an awesome, good thing. For me, it represented a 2.5 decade period of my life where I gave up control of and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to be became stuffed down actually for that relationship and to raise my kids and my family and to do things like that. And that happens. So sometimes change isn't necessarily good or positive for us. And we always evaluate everything based on how we feel about it, how it impacts us. So as far as health goes, our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health are all things that I clump and categorize under the health category. Then there's wealth, finances, money. It's a huge topic for so many of us. It becomes an entity and a topic in and of itself. And it's one of our main drivers and needs. And then there's relationships. And after we get all of our other things, our basic needs met, we all want to make some kind of a contribution. We want to know that our lives and we made a difference. So as we went through this SOAP model, we just finished the SOAP framework yesterday. And I'd love to know how you feel about that. Does it feel differently to you in any way, shape, or form than how you usually handle challenges, handle change, deal with change? Is it different? Is it different to think through a process about how to deal with something than it is to, most of us, let's be honest, most of us just react to things. No matter what happens, it gets thrown at us, we respond, we react. Something else happens, we respond, we react. We don't think through an actual process or even have a process that we go through to make sure that we're doing and reacting in the way that's in our own best interest, that's best for us. Have you ever been in a situation where something happened, say you get in a car accident, and instead of responding calmly and saying, okay, well, what do we do next? What do I need to do right now? First, I need to check my body and see if I'm bleeding or if I'm unconscious and I just wake up. Depending on the situation, we have to analyze the situation. But how many times are you not hurt? You jump out of your car and you start screaming and yelling at the other person that hit your car and blaming them only to discover that they're actually really, really hurt. And that maybe they had a heart attack and that's what caused the accident. And then all of a sudden you feel guilty because you overreacted or you reacted in a way in that situation that after the fact you regret or you feel bad about. We want to take that out of the equation. We want to stop just responding and reacting to things. We want to take back our life, take back control of our life and the situations, whether we can control the situation or not. We always have the ability and the 100% responsibility, believe it or not all of us want to take responsibility all the time for how we respond, how we react, how we show up in the world. That's the thing that we can always control. We can always control how we're showing up in the world. So, what's next? I want to take a little pause and ask you, how are you feeling about the framework? How do you feel about the SOAP model. Do you have any questions about it? If you do, please hit me up in the comments below, and let's do a question and answer. Either, in the next couple of days, let's do a live Q&A to make sure that you're getting your questions answered, or to get feedback on, yeah, this doesn't work for me. Where did you come up with this? And again, it might not work for you. I haven't met anyone it doesn't work for yet if they give it a chance, but this is what works for me. Now, I will say that this process is one that I've learned over decades, and I've tried and tested and tweaked it over and over and over again. You might not know it as being called the SOAP framework, because I just use SOAP because it helps me remember the steps and make them automatic in my life. And during COVID, soap just seemed like the perfect thing because we're washing our hands all the time. Excuse me. And actually, prior to that, I spent 35 years in the food industry, in the food business. And so one thing we do a lot in food manufacturing is wash our hands and sanitize our hands. So a lot of the things that businesses and companies are putting in place right now, we just were always doing. We were always doing it as part of our normal standard operating procedures and our way of doing business to ensure safety of our products and services for everyone. So today, as I ask what's next, let's think about the 7 key areas of our life. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Those are all health related to me. It's like your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your physical well-being and health, And I went through the SOAP model with my left knee. I'm going to tell you right now, my left knee is not better. It's not 100% better. I tried my next step of my process yesterday, and I used that CBD stuff 4 times, and guess what? My knee still hurts like crazy. I still woke up this morning and could barely walk on it. So am I done yet with examining my physical well-being and the changes and the choices and the decisions and using the SOAP model? No, I'm not. I'm going to continue to do that. But instead of going through that again, I want to pick a different area of my life. I'm going to actually pick the wealth or the financial area of my life. And see, it says financial and wealth. So wealth, I guess the wrong side. I guess it's W on both sides. So I will go through the SOAP model over the next 4 days, not today, starting tomorrow, with S, of course, our story and our situation. I will go over that with respect to a financial example. I don't know if I'll use my financial example. It's not that good a one. Or if I will use typical financial examples of people I work with. Maybe I'll use one of my own. I can always think of something in any one of these areas, because the secret is I personally am working on all of these areas all of the time. Now, I'm not working on them simultaneously, all 7 areas, with a whole bunch of different goals and objectives, but every year for sure, I set a goal and then objectives to support that goal in each of these 7 areas of my life. I've done it for a long time, and that's how I continue to improve. And continuous improvement is a big part of who I am. So as I go through the SOAP model over the next 4 days, I will use a financial example. So I will pick the F of those. What I want you to do today is think about, how do you feel about the framework? What do you have for questions on the framework? Did it work for you? Did it not work for you? Guess what? Sometimes it doesn't work the first time you try something new. Really? I mean, the first time I try something, it might not work exactly like I want it to. I might have to practice to make sure I get better and better and better at it. Yes, everything worthwhile takes practice. Everything worthwhile takes effort and work and energy. Work is just energy put into something. So pick our action item today is just to pick one of the 7 areas. Or if you want, continue on and go through the SOAP model again, or the SOAP framework again, on the same thing that you've done. I could very easily go through the SOAP framework again on my knee and my left knee. So for physical, for my left knee, I could totally go through it again. But I want to give you a different perspective, and so I'll pick a different area. But guess what? I'm still working on my knee, even though I'm moving on to a financial area for this challenge. So today, just pick and share in the comments below the area, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships or contributions, that you're going to go through the SOAP model with us through over the next 4 days of the challenge. And I will add some twists and some depth to each of those steps. So to this SOAP, each of those, we're not going to talk about and go over the exact same things we covered before. We're going to add some more depth and some more meaning and some more understanding. behind them so that you can continue to install that process in your subconscious and make it just natural. As natural as waking up in the morning, as natural as going to sleep at night. Now, before you say, I can't sleep because I'm so stressed out about X, Y, or Z, take this for what take it for how I mean it. It should be as easy as, what do they say, falling off a log, right? For some of us, falling off a log is really easy. So that's it today. Get ready to run through the SOAP model again. Get ready to play full out and really understand how this process can work for you. And once you start doing it, it's just like anything else. Once you do it a few times, and that's why we're going to do it again. Once you do it a few times, you will be amazed at how you just automatically ask yourself the questions for each of the steps, and you just go through the process. It becomes as easy as falling off a log because your subconscious just takes over for you. It's like, try to not ask a question about something. Do you know that our minds and our brains always think in questions? That was a question. They do. We evaluate everything, and we do that through questions. And that's why questions are so powerful for us. We'll talk about that probably during the challenge, because that's a really cool, very, very powerful topic. And most of us don't even know that. I mean, it was probably only 15 years ago that I actually understood that we ask ourselves questions all the time. And the direction of our life is determined, and the quality of our life is determined by the questions we're willing to ask ourselves. So today, what area are you going to work on next? Let's talk about it. Share it in the comments below. Questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow for day 14 of our Get Up and Go challenge.